Welcome back to Personalist Manifestos. I'm Michael Morelli, the host of this ongoing conversation about contemplative revolution. In this conversation, I speak with my friend and sports superfan, Andrew Blaine. Sports talk has come up here and there on this show, and it's usually when I'm lamenting the ongoing losses and heartbreaks that come with being a Vancouver Canucks fan. But this is the first episode where sport is spoken about at length. What you may come to see as this conversation progresses, however, is that sports for Andrew are about more than sports. Sports are about community, relationship, and a God who meets us and changes us in and through communities and relationships. Within churches, yes, but also beyond churches too. And so with that, here's my conversation with Andrew. All right, Andrew Blaine. How are we doing today?
We are doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. Just pretty standard work day. So looking forward to this conversation, change things up a little bit. What have you been up to today?
Just yeah. So I just got ready, came here. Yeah, this week has been pretty wild. I hung out with my friend Avery on Monday, which we can talk about her a little bit in a little bit here. So yeah, because she's the reason why I love the Spartans so much.
Yeah. And speaking of the Spartans, you are decked out in the Trinity Western Spartans athletics gear. For
Yeah.
those who are uninitiated, we're going to get into the Spartans because Andrew is a sports super fan. And I feel like we've talked a little bit about sports on Personalist Manifestos before,
Yeah.
particularly the performance of the Canucks and other NHL teams and how
Oh
it's,
yeah.
how it's sad to be a Canucks fan
Yeah.
for the most part. But this is going to be the first full length discussion about sports. So this is a new thing that we're doing here. I'm pumped.
Sports and communities.
Sports and community, that's right. So before we get into that, Andrew, tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what do people need to know about Andrew Blaine?
What do people need to know? That's a really good question. I So I grew up here in Langley. I think I was born in Saskatchewan, and then I moved out here when I was a baby. I have I have two brothers and two sisters. Yeah.
So where are you in order? Are you like on the older side or the younger side? Or are you like
I,
right in the middle?
I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest. Okay,
Yeah,
you're
I
you're
know. I
you're
know,
the
man.
you're the responsible one.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm the youngest. So I feel like that's why this works, is because you're the oldest, you're responsible. I'm the youngest. I'm bratty. I'm always cracking sarcastic jokes, but you're keeping me on point.
Oh man. I'm not always responsible. I'll
That's
say.
true. That's true. You do have a couple stories about overdoing it with soda and chicken wings.
Yeah, soda and chicken wings. I told my friend Paul about this. He he's the uh, he's the strength and conditioning coach for the Spartans, and I told him a couple weeks ago because I was in there. Um, I said, "Hey Cole, I had a Coke at 9 a.m. in the morning, like a sip of Coke at 9 a.m. in the morning." He's like, "Andrew, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah,
You don't tell the strength and conditioning coach when you do something like that. That's like the
I
last person you want to tell.
I mean, he's my guy,
He's your
so
guy. He'll let you cheat.
yeah.
Well,
I cheat a lot when I'm in my own apartment.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So here's an important question. Was it real sugar Coke or was it like a Coke Zero or a Diet Coke?
It was actual Coke.
Okay, it was the real deal. It was a
Yeah.
full send. Okay, so last night I was at a barbecue and somebody brought a bunch of like real sugar Coca-Cola. And normally my wife buys the Coke Zero. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet, here we go. This is a treat, like real sugar. And man, it's so good, but
So good.
it just does not make you feel good after.
I
I
know.
mean, not that the Coke Zero does with the aspartame, but
Yeah.
the real sugar just hits different.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
instantly your teeth start hurting. You get the shakes a little bit.
So I have to go a little bit off topic here. So my favorite candy is Skittles, and one time I had a whole, like, one of those big, like, sour pack ones, like those
Oh
big
yeah.
ones. I
Yes.
There's been a lot of times where I have the whole thing to myself in a day, and then your mouth just feels so raw after.
Yeah, especially if it's the sour kind, because the sour ones are actually really sour. And it's kind of like, when snakes or reptiles shed their skin,
Yeah,
it like does that to the inside of your
yeah,
mouth.
yeah. One last thing I'll say about Coke is Coke is like my coffee. Like I don't
Yeah.
drink coffee, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm partial to coffee, but every once in a while I like to treat myself to a Coca-Cola or a Dr. Pepper. I'm
yeah.
a big Dr. Pepper fan. I realize that's a divisive, position to take here, but we're all about taking risks here.
You know what? You know what's kind of better than Dr. Pepper? Root beer, A&W root beer.
Oh man, I don't
So good,
know. I
so
don't
good.
know. I like a root beer, but I gotta go with my doctor. I gotta go
Yeah,
with my Dr. Pepper.
that's fair. That's fair.
That's it. Well, I feel like after the sports conversation, we should do another conversation at another time, just reviewing snacks and soft drinks.
Oh, dude, I'm so in.
And then we could monetize and at the very least get some free snacks.
Yeah, I think all the athletes right now who are listening are like they're loving this.
You are a self-declared sports super fan, and anybody that knows you would acknowledge that.
Hmm.
So I want to start at the start before we get into what you're currently up to, your involvement in the Trinity Western Athletics and Spartans and that sort of thing. But I want to know, like, when did you first fall in love with sports?
So my friend, so as a lot of you guys know, I'm a big fan of sports in general. More so Trinity Western sports, obviously. But back in the day, actually, I used to be a gymnast. Not like not like a like professional gymnast, but I used to do gymnastics just for an hour at the event center when I was really young, probably when I was around maybe 7 or 8, I'm gonna say. But yeah,
That was
but
the start.
yeah, that was kind of the start, and then so on to how I love I love sports so much. So my friend Avery Heppel, she's she's she used to be she used to play volleyball back in the day. So and her and I have been really good friends. We've been friends since high school, and yeah, I actually saw her the other day on Monday. She's currently doing coaching at a volleyball camp. So it was really good to see her. But her and I, we went to high school together, and then at the start of 2018, we reconnected at CLA Young Adults because she came for a night, and then she was like, Andrew, you should come watch us play volleyball because I think she was in her second year when I first started watching her. So yeah, so I've been going to her games since 2018 from 2022 when she graduated, and now currently today I'm over 100 games, like over 100 games with
Wow.
the volleyball program. So yeah,
So just for those who aren't aware, CLA stands for Christian Life Assembly. It's a church just in the area that Andrew and I live here in Langley in British Columbia, Canada. And
yeah,
yeah, young adults group there, and Andrew connected with Avery. And I still want to spend a little bit of time in this gymnastics phase because my boys both do gymnastics at Langley Event Center of all places. And that's been a really interesting introduction into the world of gymnastics. Like I did a little bit when I was younger, and I
yeah,
always appreciated the sport and watch, the gymnastics when the Olympics are on. But just journeying with them, watching them learn, rolls and tucks and cartwheel,
yeah,
all those sorts of things. It's such a fascinating sport, and the technique and focus that goes into it, it's a pretty serious sport. And the other thing that I find really cool about is a lot of athletes, like professional athletes, say that they suggest everybody starts with gymnastics and
mm,
keeps it up. Like it's so integral to other sports.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's a good place to start.
yeah,
Uh, okay, so let's jump ahead. So it was kind of Avery inviting you out to a game, and
yeah,
that was kind of like open the door to Trinity Athletics.
yeah.
But you're not just into the volleyball. Like you watch the men and women's volleyball, but you watch a lot of the other sports too. Do you want to talk about some of the teams that you cheer on and kind of the role that you play in those teams?
Yeah, so there's that. So there's volleyball. Volleyball's my first, my number one. Uh, and then there's um men's and women's basketball, hockey, soccer, track and field, cross country. I think there's like 13 teams or 12 teams with over 300 athletes, and I know pretty much all of them. Um, so yeah, so there's like a lot of things to do. Um, all my weekends are pretty much packed. And I did start watching like more games until I think 2023. Um, when I first decided to join other sports like watching sports. Um, yeah, they're really good. They're a really good group of people that I really enjoy hanging out with, and I I'm able to go in the Sparta gym. That's what we call it, the Sparta gym, and I I go and I train. I train and do workouts with them and encourage them and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they're really good. They're a really good group of people, and it's awesome that I'm able to go to these games. Um, it does get pretty tiring at times, for sure, because um, you know, all your weekends are pretty much booked um until like March. So when you have a guy like me that goes to all these games and spends all this money and all this time, um, yeah, it's definitely a lot, but it's 100% worth it in the end, for sure.
And what if you were to sort of summarize what makes it all worth it? How would you describe what makes it worth all that investment?
I think, and I've been really thinking about this too. I think it's just um a lot of these people like love sports, obviously, but I also love the fact that I'm able to like have conversations with them with just like life, and also just being able to, you know, encourage them. Even there's been times where um the athletes like the team's down again, down 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 like points, or the team is not doing too well, and the most important thing for me is to be there to encourage them, even when the game's not going well.
Yeah, one of the things that I've observed knowing people who have played sports at a high level, and I'm sure you would know even more than I, just given how engaged you are, is the pressure that athletes deal with.
Yeah,
I think we can all say, oh, yeah, that must be a lot of pressure and oh, that must be really stressful. But I don't think the average person, myself included, really understands the level of demand that high performing athlete deals with. And I imagine how everybody celebrates a team or a player when they're doing well, but
yeah,
is so quick to throw them under the bus when the team or the player isn't performing in the way that we want them to.
yeah,
And it's probably the case, wouldn't you say, that a true fan is a one who sticks through even when the team isn't doing well.
yeah. A
Yeah.
hundred, 100%. And also too, it's like they're doing a lot. Like they got homework and they got assignments and all that kind of stuff, like personal lives and personal struggles. And it's awesome that again I'm able to like encourage them, even when they're doing well. It's still pretty. It's still great that I'm able to just be there for them. To just make their day, and I feel like that is one of the most important things about this. It's just being there for them, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. In the highs and the lows, and the just sort of not super high, super low, but just sort of like basic performance that you're there sticking by them. So I'm curious, what do you think is an important element of being a successful team? Like if say volleyball, right? What makes a good athlete, like psychologically and physically? Like what keeps them focused and performing well even when things are going rough? Like what from your perspective?
I think, like I'm not a coach, obviously, but I think I mean, obviously, takes a lot of practice and a lot of, but I think it's ultimately like I don't know what it's like for them. Obviously, like I don't know what's going on behind those closed doors, but I think it has everything to do with team building. Keeping yourselves accountable and like communicating with each other. I think is a huge key. And yeah, and also I think it's like the fans as well, and I'm speaking for the fans, because without them, I don't think the athletes would feel that supported, and yeah, and I think also too that you gotta build trust and you gotta build relationships, and yeah, so I think it's that too.
Oh, 100%. I watch a fair amount of hockey, typically during the playoffs. My whole family really gets into it, and that's one of the things that I observe separates the good teams from the great teams or the bad teams from the great teams is can the team play as a team, right?
Yeah,
Like not just a team name and a logo, right? But actually, can they play as a group of people who trust each other and are willing to uh, support their teammate maybe to excel, even if that means that I don't make the highlight reel.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
That it's like what's best for the team is prioritized in how we play and how we approach the game, as compared to just like what's going to make me look good.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I wasn't gonna say this, but you probably watched the Toronto Florida Panthers game 7,
Yeah,
and the way that Brad Marchand put it, he was like, one of the reporters asked him like, how does it feel to be on top of the Panthers for like 8 playoff games in a row? And he was like, honestly, it's not funny when when Toronto loses all these game sevens. Like, imagine how rough that would be. So he was talking about that. I can't imagine what's going on in that Toronto locker room during that time.
I can't imagine either, but I can imagine it's not great.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah.
So we're kind of circling around this question I wanted to ask, but we're talking a lot about teams, but we're also talking about community in general. And so when did you discover how powerful community could be?
I think funny. I actually went to a lot of youth groups back in the day, so I know like a lot about community, like in my early teenage years. Um, yeah, so yeah, I think it's important that I'm able to have all these leaders that have really built up to me or built into me, and yeah, I think I think also too it's really important to like surrounding yourself with good people, and I reflect on that all the time. Like for those that don't know, I go to Southridge, CLA, and you know, I'm on Trinity campus as well. I don't know if you would call that a church, but basically I go to 3 communities, and it's definitely a lot, but there's something powerful when you're together with a bunch of believers that believe in Jesus, and I don't know. There's something profound and spiritually rewarding about being able to go to all these different communities, and you know there's a lot of stuff that um I've learned from them all, and yeah, it's been really awesome to see how God's been working in my life in community, and again, it's rewarding. It's rewarding to be able to go out there and to be able to just explore, you know.
Yeah. You said you learn a lot from community. Can you think of like at least one big thing you have learned over the years being as involved in the different communities that you mentioned here?
I think, yeah, I think it's just, um, I think it's just the importance of that, and just being able to again go out there and encourage others, and also, um, yeah, I've definitely learned that like, um, I could spend all this time and all all these different moments with this many people, but like if I don't have God like in the middle of it, it just falls apart.
Hmm. So that's a perfect setup for my next question. It's like you knew I was going to ask it. But when did you first meet Jesus?
I first met Jesus when I think when I was about maybe like 14 or 15, and then I actually got baptized at a different church, uh, Town and Field, Town
Oh,
and Field Church in Langley here,
hmm.
and yeah, so it was so um I I used to go to another church out in Surrey called Westford's Community Church, and this one time we were at this conference called History Maker. I don't know if you heard of that,
Yep.
but yeah, I think it was in 20 2014 when I decided to get baptized. So I was pretty young, and then I think it was around, I'm gonna say April or the summer, I think, or it might have been May. But there was a baptism at Town and Field Church, and it was a youth day, and yeah, I was able to get baptized in the water, and um, yeah, again, grown grown up with so much community, so that's when uh, that's when I really started following Jesus, even in my high school years.
So we're talking about how you met Jesus. We're talking about community. We're talking about sports. What do those things have to do with each other? Like Jesus and sports. Like, how does your faith play a role in what we started this conversation talking about?
Jesus is Jesus Jesus is the center of all this, you know. I've been really just thinking about that. Like he is the center of like all this. Um I actually back in high school I remember a moment where this isn't the start of it, but I remember a moment where um it was actually my graduation year, and um my our graduation ceremony was at CLA, and I remember I was walking across that stage in front of all my friends and the people there, and everybody was giving me a standing ovation, and I feel like even before that, like I've experienced so much of God's love through those high school years, and even just before that. But I just remember thinking when I was walking across that stage that like, God, you're so good. And even before like I was being named grad of the year, like I was kind of joking when um like all the flyers came out of like who's gonna be voting for the grad of the year. Um and then me and my teachers, we were talking about how funny it would be, and I was like, yeah, it wouldn't be cool if I was grad of the year. And then she was like, don't give your hopes up, like that, you know, there's gonna be somebody else. And then I was like, yeah, I know. And then I didn't really think anything of it until like I think it was in May of 2016 that my teacher's like, Andrew, you're gonna be grad of the year. And then I was like, no way. And then to have that happen for my graduation, and like even now, like going through all these communities and having all these moments, I'm able to like take the important things that I've learned in my early teenage years, and to be able to just apply it today, like for today, like making sure like I'm gonna be that leader that everybody everybody knows, and I'm gonna be that leader who lifts people up. I think that is huge. I was going all over the place with that question, but
No. I'm tracking with you because I think what you're touching on is one of the questions that I've been thinking about as we've been preparing to talk today is why do people spend the time and the energy and the money not just to play sport but watch it, right? Like what brings all these fans out or music as well. Of course, the online thing and streaming has changed the way music is recorded and shared and experienced, but people are still going to concerts. People are still going to large festivals and they're after something there. And I think it's what you're talking about is the feeling that we're all in one place and and we're experiencing something that has to do with everybody present, but we're also experiencing something beyond just any one person. And just the power of that when we experience joy or we cheer or we celebrate a person or persons for who they are and what they've accomplished,
mm,
like that I think is what draws people out. And I think really at that human level, it's like
yeah,
I don't want to feel alone in this world. I want to experience relationship with other people, and we want to experience something beyond ourselves, the presence of something or someone beyond ourselves. And I think that's
mhm,
what is so attractive about sport and music and anything else that draws a crowd. But I think what's especially beautiful in what you said there is you talk about this moment where you were celebrated and you received, the applause and celebration of a room full of people and an award. And you're like, after experiencing something like that, I want to play a role in helping other people experience that too. And
yeah,
not just like once in a while, but as much as possible, I want other people to experience that too. So that's what I'm hearing. Am I hearing you correctly, or am I just imposing Michael's thoughts
no,
on what
no,
Andrew
that's
just
good.
said?
That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
And also too, I would like to add to what you said about like why do people come out? And I think also too like as people a lot of people know, like so many people know, we forget don't forget we were in a pandemic, you know, and to have like so many things like pop up again, like everybody's being busy, and there's like more options today than there was in 2020 when we were all in lockdown, and now it's like, well, like everyone's busy now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it taught a lot of people that as much as we may want some distance and to get out of the world and be less busy, there also is an essential part of ourselves that really misses that human contact
Yeah,
when we don't have it. And I think we're created that way. I think we're created for community. Even the introverted person who'd rather just sit in a corner with a book,
yeah,
by themselves, even that person after a while just starts to yearn to be around other people, right?
yeah, and we can touch base about this hopefully in a bit here, but there's been times for me where obviously there's a lot going on. There's like so much to do. You go to so many games, so many of these communities, but my thing is when I'm not doing anything, I just love to just be able to stay here in my apartment and just play video games. You know, take that break, or watch something on TV. You know, whatever it is. Like, um, I love to play NHL 2024. Like when I'm not doing anything, or just simply putting on my TV and just like getting that bowl of popcorn out or a snack out, whatever it is, and just being like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and I just want to take a break, and I think that's important to like have that balance,
Oh,
which
totally.
which is not something not something that I choose to do a lot of the time because I'm always like, let's do this thing, and
Yeah.
then you know,
Yeah, well, I think that as much as we want to be out there and be with people and filling our schedules, all of us need rest, even social butterflies such as yourself. I know people who when they get tired, they get energized by being around people. And you strike me as one of those people, but sometimes it's like, oh, you know what? I actually just need to, like you said, put on a show, eat some popcorn on my own, or get into a video game or whatever. But I'm the type of person who's I like being around people, but when I get tired, I'm like I need to retreat. Like I that's how I recharge my batteries. And sometimes I just sort of like get caught in this routine. There's always more to do. There's always something important to get done, but you have to pull yourself out of that mindset and say, no, like it's okay to rest. Don't feel guilty about it.
yeah, you know what? I was actually gonna talk about this, but so I used to be a youth leader, and if you guys don't know what hub is, it's like pretty much youth at Southridge Fellowship. Um, People call me the hype leader over there.
The hype
Um,
leader.
the hype leader, yeah.
Oh, nice. Nobody calls me that.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to the people at Southridge. Um,
Absolutely. Well, actually, we just had a episode with Greg Harris from Southridge. So Southridge is getting good representation on this show.
yeah, and I would I'll say this too. You were great a few weeks ago. You were
Oh,
up there. You
thank
were
you.
so good. You were so good.
Thank you. You're so encouraging. Yeah.
But yeah. So I think it was last year. I used to be at Hub a lot, and then I kind of stopped only because like I was moving in a new place, and you know I had a lot of stuff going on during the week, and so I was like, you know what, I think it's best. I think it's best but if I just took a break, and I haven't been back for the past couple years, only because like now things are changing. Now new rhythms are coming and going. So yeah, so I think it was a really important decision for me to take that break because like I'm out pretty much like four 3 days a week, right? And even more on the weekend. Um so yeah, that's why I decided to stop. And again, I don't give the leaders there like any sort of negative thought. I love my leaders and I love the youth there so much, but yeah, I just felt like it was time to step back and take time for me.
You can't do it all.
No,
No. And I think that actually shows really good self-awareness to know, okay, when am I taking on too much and when do I need to dial things back a little bit before I burn out?
yeah, 100%. And I think take it giving yourself space, like giving yourself a day to just regather yourself and recharge yourself. So sometimes on my days off, I don't take time to do that as often as I should. because I'm always like, okay, what's the next thing after the thing that I went to, you know?
Yeah, I'm similar. What's
Yeah,
the next thing? What's the next thing? There's always something more. There's
yeah.
always something more to do.
And you're always like, oh, I gotta get ready for that thing, and then yeah,
So you mentioned that you wanted to talk about this. You said you want to talk a little bit about the challenges of community and what you think would be helpful for people to hear about some of the challenges that you've experienced that you want to talk about.
yeah. There's been honestly a lot that's been kind of kind of making me like not question myself, but really just like diving into this question. Um so obviously you guys see on my Instagram like all I go to all these places, spend all this time and spending all my, hours and money to to just be in some of these communities. But I guess the challenging part is like there's been there's been people in my circle. Again, this is not me putting anybody down, but this is just my experience. Um, there's been people that have said to me like you shouldn't go to these three youth groups all at once, and there's been people saying like this community's better, this community's better, or this setup is better than this setup, and I'm like, you know what, I don't think about it that way, and there's gonna be conversations of whether like I should ha- have all these different communities at once. Like should I be spending like a lot of time like doing this thing? And again, it's definitely a lot, and there's only so many people you can go to and spend more time with. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, like it's what God like it's what God wants for all of us. Like you guys can have a cup of coffee with that friend. It's the same thing with going to the movies with your friends, or going for dinner, or just whatever it is. You know, even though church is a different, you know, it's a different. It can be a different breed, I guess. If you're tracking with me.
Yes, yes, I am. I think having been in ministry, I mean, I teach now, but I've worked in local church ministry as well, and of course, I go to a church, and you mentioned like me being at Southridge. Like that's not my home church, but I preached there the other day because Greg's my friend. He invited me to, and I
Yeah,
I show up to other friends' churches when they ask me to, and I think one of the things I observe is community, especially these days. I think social media has really changed it, and not always for the better. Is just this everything's treated like a competition
yeah,
almost, or we have to get the most social capital or like rewards or attention for being here with these people and not being there with those people. And it's like everybody waits to respond to an event invitation until they're sure that everybody else is going to go, right? Like nobody wants to be at a get together or a party or an event that just feels, I don't know. It doesn't have the attraction and the sparkle or whatever. And
yeah,
I think that's just the general social sort of environment, but I think that's become a part of churches too. And the competition between churches of like, oh, if they go to that, we might lose them. And then, we're not the coolest place to be, or we don't have the high enough numbers. But
Yeah.
what I hear you saying is church isn't a competition,
No.
relationship isn't a competition. Church is church, relationship is relationship. And there's plenty of room in God's kingdom to become a part of multiple church communities and spend time with multiple groups of people. Like it doesn't it you have somebody like you, especially. I think this is like a spiritual gift of yours, like a superpower is you've got a lot of love to give,
Yeah. And
and God has a lot of love to give. And like there's like a limitless supply when it comes to God. So why would we want to place limits on something that is unlimited when it comes to God? And how should that reflect the way that we approach church and approach our communities and relationships?
100%. And I think before I used to go to one church, and I went to only one church for a long time, and then in my I think in my 20s is when I decided to go to Southridge a little more because you know church buy my own place, and even recently, like I've been going to CLA a little bit now more than Southridge, because like CLA's right there, like across the road,
Yeah, they're your neighbor.
so but it's like, yeah, sometimes I have that balance of like I should go to Southridge today, and I have done that. And I remember also a few months ago I was at CLA, and this is we um before we switched to the 10 a.m. service for just one service. But I remember this one time I was at the 9 a.m. service. I think it was for Selfridge, or I might have showed up late. I think I showed up around 10:30, but but there was a time where I went to Selfridge for um I showed up at 10:30, and then I went for the message, and then um it ends, and then I was like, you know what? I gotta go home. So I drove home, and then I was passing CLA, obviously. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pull in and see who I can talk to. So again, I wasn't there for too long that day, but I just found I just found like I just thought this is so cool to be able to just just see, I was like, I'm seeing my favorite, like my favorite communities all on the same day,
Yeah.
you know? And there was also one time where I think it was Good Friday service, and um I think it was I think it was Brent Chapman who preached, and to see all my friends in one building, because there was my Southridge squad as well, and then a lot of my fraternity people came, like some of the athletes came to CLA because it was Good Friday service. I don't know which church they were a part of. I think it was Village, but I was like, holy man, like all my favorite people together in one room.
Mm.
I just felt like so encouraged. And not only that, like after the service, me and a bunch of my Trinity friends went to campus, and a bunch of athletes had a pickleball tournament, and I went to go watch. And then I just felt really encouraged that day,
Mm.
that I'm able to like see all these different friends that know me so well. And yeah, so it, again, it's a lot. There's a lot of people, but at the end of the day, um it's pretty rewarding. And the second challenging thing about communities is, and I was gonna share the second point is there's been there's been a couple people, and I'm gonna be honest, again, not not saying anything negative about them or anything, because again, this is just my experience, but they've been some people have been really jealous of me having all these different groups and all these different connections and all these different opportunities. And I've said, like, I don't, and I've said this to people all the time, like, I don't do this for attention or fame or any of those kinds of things. You know, it's just when you go to so many different communities and go to so many games, obviously there's like there's in a sense like you're gonna have some of these things like being well known by all these communities, and again, I don't do this for any kind of fame, but I do this because like God's putting me out there. And at the end of the day, what matters is the impact that I'm having on people, and I can definitely lose sight of that sometimes. I'm just gonna be honest. I've definitely lost sight of like um being like this is awesome, like isn't this great, like all these people know me, but like at the end of the day I gotta stay humble, which is not easy to do when you have um some of these high expectations from certain people, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a struggle for a lot of people. I think first of all, the struggle or the fear that comes with just putting yourself out there and not just encouraging other people, but putting who you really are out there and being known for who you are. That requires a number of risks and vulnerability. And I think there are a lot of people who would say, as much as I look at another person and say, man, I wish I was like that. Maybe they're not willing to take that step to show who they are and maybe see that, oh, well, maybe actually people will respond, positively to what I'm putting out there. But that takes risk, I think, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that. And I think the second part too is like once you take that risk and maybe people do start responding, you get a little bit of attention or celebration for it. Yeah, like it can distract you from what originally inspired you to put yourself out there. And just knowing that, I think, is important, right? Always returning what you're saying is this isn't about me. This isn't about like my reputation. It's just about giving and sharing what God has given to me with other people. And if you
Yeah,
can just keep focused on that, the rest takes care of itself. And if other people focus on that in their own way, like it doesn't mean less for you or less for them or less for other people. Again, it's like God is that big. Um, I mean, that's encouraging to me. Even doing this, putting myself out there a little bit more with the podcasting on social media,
yeah,
there's a part of me is like, oh man, what if nobody cares? Or what if people think that I'm just attention seeking? And it's like at the end of the day, like, what has God given me, you, and other people to do in the moment? And how do you just trust that, stay focused on that, and try and stay humble in the process? I think that's all we can do. And, we have friends that'll tell us if we're getting distracted.
yeah.
Right. If we're getting a little bit prideful or we're losing focus on what's most important, we have friends that are gonna tell us, not because they want to bring us down, but because they care.
Yeah, 100%. And also too, what most people don't know is I used to be that guy too. I used to be be like not attention seeking, but I used to be that shy guy too, until I was able to get out of my shell. Like I remember in grade 8 where I only had a few friends and I didn't know I didn't know how to put myself out there because I I'm just a kid in a wheelchair, and I'm wondering like how am I how am I gonna make an impact, and if you look at what's been happening, this is the result, you know.
Well, I didn't know you when you were that shy kid in grade 8. All I know is this, Andrew, the hype guy, right? The outgoing guy who I've never experienced you being shy. But I mean, I think that's really encouraging to know that that's part of your story, right? And good on you for taking that risk because our friendship is a gift, and I know that your friendship is a gift to a lot of people. As
Yeah.
we wind down here, is there any final things you want to say? Like I want to give you the last word. Like, did I not ask you a question or bring something up that you wanted to talk about? Here's your chance.
Well, I just wanted to say to all my communities and all my family members and to all my Spartan friends, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You guys have definitely made an impact on me, and I don't know how all this community stuff and how the Spartan season's gonna go. Like I'm really looking forward to just um going to all these communities and also um a little bit on the Spartan side. Like I don't know what's gonna happen this season. There's been so much obviously that's been happening, but I'm really looking forward to just working with you guys and building you guys up. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this next season, and I can't wait to see what the Holy Spirit's gonna do, because the Holy Spirit has definitely got has definitely done a lot in my life, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next, and I really don't know what's gonna happen
Hmm.
with all this, but time will tell.
Well, that's part of the fun, isn't it? With
Yeah,
sport and with life, not knowing what's next.
yeah, yeah. I will say this real quick.
Yeah.
I crashed. I crashed women's soccer's media day a few weeks ago, and yeah, just being able to meet all the new rookies for this year, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get out there and yeah. There I will say this. I guess it's an announcement. I guess, but we are the women's volleyball. It's going to be hosting nationals for 2026 in at the event center. So yeah, there's going to be so much happening. So
Well, if you go to a game, make sure to say hi to Andrew. I know that he will be there.
yeah, please do.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Andrew. This has been awesome. I know you're a busy guy, but I appreciate you making time for this conversation.
Of course, anything for you, my guy.
Likewise. Likewise.